One of the most important lessons that you learn as you age and get older is that you have to focus in on the things in your life that matter the most. This world is this vast open playground, and we simply don't have enough time, energy, or mental bandwidth to focus on everything. And that's not actually as easy as it sounds, because there are so many forces in this world that are basically seeking to draw you into their system, their scheme, their ideology, from governments wanting you to take a specific path in life, from corporations or career paths looking to pull you in that direction to support their industry, to people or groups out there in the world that want to gain access over your time, your energy, your resources, your attention. And as we move more and more online and advance technologically, our attention is such a crucial resource to manage. And it's not easy to determine and decipher or make the kind of choices that actually push you in the right direction in life. It's so easy to get lost, to get manipulated, to get sent down certain paths that are, promising something and delivering something completely different. As an example from my own life, in my mid-20s, I was traveling the world looking for a purpose, looking for a reason to, or a path to explore with my life. And I had this sort of intuitive knowledge or this feeling like there was this, like I was destined for something greater. And having finished university, I kind of got to the end of my degree and was like, it's just not, doesn't feel like my calling. It doesn't light me up inside. And so I went searching. I went looking to find myself traveling around the world. I ended up going to India. And I had this calling to explore spirituality, yoga, meditation, because I was kind of trying to find myself, trying to cultivate this deeper relationship, this deeper knowing, and follow this kind of guidance system that was sort of pulling me in that direction towards asking the big questions. And because at that stage of my life, I wasn't super clear. I just didn't have enough life experience to be able to figure out what I wanted to do with myself. As so many of us, I'm sure you can relate. And what ended up happening is that I found something. I found a path, a school, a philosophy to follow, teachers to guide me. And I got sucked in to a system that ultimately ended up trying to exploit me. And I ended up giving my entire life over. We could call that a cult. And so many people get sucked into these kind of organizations and schemes because I wasn't actually in touch with myself enough. I didn't have the inner guidance system. I wasn't aware of what my values truly were. I didn't have clarity around that. And so I wasn't able to really see the red flags or the boundaries that were being crossed and eroded gradually over time. And I ended up spending 5 years in this organization, and I was hoping that it would fulfill this absence of meaning, this absence of direction, and in some ways it definitely did. And I just share this as an example of the ways that we can get pulled into things if we're not super clear about what we want, where we're going. And so many of us are vulnerable because we actually don't have clarity around knowing ourselves in a deep way, being able to understand and articulate boundaries, having a clear set of values that guide our decision-making process. So one of the biggest lessons that I've taken from this whole experience, because it was an ordeal, it's extremely difficult to leave an organization like that. Once you're in, easy to join, very seductive, very hard to leave. And one of the real biggest insights that I took away from that was that my values guide all of my decisions in life, whether I'm aware of it or not. At that stage of my life, I was valuing, different perspectives, looking for the answers. I was young and dumb and naive and really curious, open-minded, and in some ways I needed that experience to actually mark me, to sharpen me and test me, and actually push me to recognizing the gaps in my own education. And since doing that, I've spent a lot of time really contemplating my values. What's most important in life to me? What are the essential qualities and principles that I actually want to live my life by? And since having gotten clear on that, my life has transformed in ways that it's very hard to articulate, but the qualitative shift is just night and day. I've become ruthless in what I choose to commit my time and energy to. I've seen how precious, pricelessly precious, my attention has become and is, because it's limited. It's finite. The clock is constantly ticking down, and I only have so much bandwidth to focus on what's most important to me. And so many people I see falling into schemes or life paths or worldviews that just suck up years and years and years of their life, and that aren't necessarily aligned with living the highest existence, living their deepest truth or their calling, or finding a deep sense of purpose, doing something truly meaningful and significant and unique and specific to them. So I guess the point of this is really questioning and asking yourself, what is the most important things in my life? Get crystal clear about that. For me, truth, understanding, clarity, integrity, love, lifelong learning, contribution, giving something back, consciousness. Now that I have that as a metric, now that I have that as a guidance system, it's so easy to discern what is the right path. Does this thing, if a decision is placed in front of you, does this align with my values? And if it doesn't, the answer's no. It's so easy. And it doesn't mean that the act or the decision itself is always easy to carry out, but at least the right thing is clear. It either fits and aligns with your values or it doesn't. And if I had clarity around my values earlier in life, I wouldn't have spent 5 years in a cult. I wouldn't have ruined relationships and behaved in ways that I'm not proud of. I would have had much more integrity from the beginning, and I wish, as a culture, that we can progress to a point where young people are educated and guided towards developing this kind of guidance system early on. I had to go through 30 years of life and a whole bunch of fucked up experiences in order to gain that. And it was totally preventable. Totally preventable. All it takes is powerful questions. The episode I did yesterday was all about the power of asking questions. One of the most powerful questions that you can ask yourself is, what matters the most? What do I love doing in life? What's most important to me? What are the principles by which I want to live my life? If you can get clarity around that, man, it can save you a lot of headaches. It can save you so much pain and learning lessons the hard way. I don't know if I had been, if I'd listened to this in my early 20s, would I have listened? I'm not sure. Maybe I had to hit myself in the face or step on the rake in order to gain the maturity and the understanding and the willingness to look in the mirror and see the things that I was doing wrong, or the gaps in my education, or the character flaws that I had. But I hope in some way that this inspires you to gain a bit more clarity and to have the courage to ask those kind of questions. And if you're not clear on your top values, get to it. Start questioning. Journal about it, contemplate it, talk, have these kind of conversations with the people that you're closest to. And just watch how it transforms your life. Everything becomes clear. And you'll no longer be wandering around with confusion, a lack of understanding, a lack of direction, a lack of sense of drive or purpose. Since getting clear on my values, I became so much more productive. I cut out from my life all of the things that weren't aligned, and I focus on the things that matter the most. And that makes every day super impactful, supercharged with meaning and significance. And it brings me so much happiness, because if you live aligned with your values, that's basically a recipe for happiness. Because the things that matter the most, if you live in touch and in congruence with those things, the byproduct of that is happiness. It's energy, it's inspiration, it's creativity. You just become a fountain because you're focusing on what matters the most. It sounds so simple when I say it like that, but man, it's profound. It's so profound. This is the essence of getting in touch with your life's purpose. And in order to get in touch with your life's purpose, you really need to be in touch with your values. So if you don't know what your values are, that's an amazing and super empowering place to begin. So with that said, I'm going to enjoy this gorgeous view and the rest of this beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'll keep firing these up every day. So I will see you guys tomorrow. That's it for this one. Ciao.